So, good afternoon, everyone. So, we are here to discuss the three-phase full bridge rectifier. It is of significant importance to all of us for the power electronics community. The importance of three-phase full bridge rectifier is huge. Yes, it plays a very important role in power conversion, or I can say that in power transfer. Yes. First of all, I would like to shed some light on the practical aspects where this is very important, or the practical cases where we have to transfer power from one part to another. So you can very well think of this part that if we connect, for example, take the case of an HVDC link, a HVDC link. Okay. At the end of HVDC link, till transmission it is okay. Till transmission it is okay. It is very good that we are transmitting power. Okay, till that point it is okay. But after that, when the power is received at the receiving end, then the requirement of a three-phase inverter at the receiving end and three-phase rectifier at the sending end becomes imminent. It means both are of very wide importance. Why? Because the three-phase is the electricity that is covered, that is transferred to the HVDC link, is transferred via a three-phase rectifier. So that three-phase rectifier will convert the heavy high voltage electricity into the DC form. Okay, so the rating of thyristor, the thyristor current carrying capability, the input power factor, all of these things become very important, or I can say that they play pivotal role in deciding the overall structure of the power system. The second important part is that the same three-phase converter, first of all, the converter that will opt as the rectifier. Okay, you can see how it will act as a rectifier. Bridges, one bridge, two bridge, three bridge. So these are three bridge. This is an H bridge. You can very well understand that these things are representing the capital letter H. The capital letter H is being represented by T1, T3, T4, T6. I think I am clear to this point. In the second part of bridge, that is T3, T5, T6 and T2, we can easily observe, it can be easily concluded that it also forms the capital letter H. Okay, so and let's have a look at the legs A and C. Leg A, leg C. Clear? So leg A and C are connected. Okay, and they are connected and thus form the H bridge. So we can say that in totality, 1, okay, 2, okay, that is the BC terminal, and AC 3. Okay, so 3 H bridges are formed. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a three-phase rectifier. We can also see that this A point is connected to the source, the point B is connected to the B phase, and the point C will get connected to the C phase. Okay, One more thing that is very important is that the triggering. Before proceeding with the waveforms, we have to understand the triggering, the pulsations in which the entire converter operates. We have to understand it very carefully. So, first of all, one more thing. As I had already emphasized, that in high power transfer links, the rectifier at the sending end converts power from AC to DC. Okay. At the receiving end, again the rectifier will act as an inverter, a three-phase inverter that we will be dealing in the next part of our course. That inverter will again change the power, or I can say that it will transfer the power from the transformation of power will happen, and it will transfer the power from DC form to the AC form, and again it will be done with the help of an three-phase inverter. So this H bridge, the H bridge that I had emphasized, will remain same. Okay, so this will remain same. Now, by a thorough study of rectifier, we have learned that a rectifier can be converted. It can operate both as a converter and as a rectifier. Yes, both the operations are possible. How it is possible? By changing the value of alpha. Okay, if the alpha is greater than 90, for a case of a simple full bridge single phase converter, if alpha is greater than 90, then it will act as inverter, provided a source is present at the load side. Okay, then it will automatically start injecting the power if there is a DC source with proper orientation. Okay, or I can say that the bridge is acting as a inverter. Okay, now have a look at this part again, coming back to the topic, because the three-phase converter is deeply connected with the single-phase converter. So a revision of single-phase converter is a prerequisite. Now, the switching of bridges play a very important role. Yes, the way in which the bridges needs to be switched is very important. How we are going to switch? How we are going to switch on each of the bridges? It is of importance. So have a look at this. The numbering is done as 1, 3, 5. Okay, 1, 3, 5. Odd numbers are assigned. Then the lower bridge is given T4, the other one T6, and the other one T2. It means T1 and T4 bridges are there, and the difference between these two bridges is of 3. So again T3 plus 3, it gives you 6. Now only one bridge is remaining, that is T2 is left. So the numbering becomes quite easy, or you can move like this: 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it is very confusing. It is very confusing. Yes, it is very, very confusing. The alternate numbering is very confusing. So it's better that you remember it, just like I told you. 1, 3, 5, and just increase by 3, and only one will be left, that will be T2. Okay. One more very important factor is that I had shown a constant current source. So it means that our rectifier, the three-phase rectifier, is delivering power in CCM mode. Okay, it means that if it is an RL load, then L is very, very high for sure. L is very, very high as compared to R. So automatically the L will not allow any change in current. Any change in current will not be allowed. Okay, or I can say, to be precise, that the analysis that we are conducting here assumes that the converter operates in continuous conduction mode. I think till this point it is very clear, quite clear. After that we are going to plot the voltages and the source current. So more upon this with the source current analysis will be done on the next class. Thanks a lot.